This is so embarrassing for me to record. I've noticed that when I go through stressful periods in my life, my coping mechanism is defaulting to some stupid little game on my phone, as well as buying tat on AliExpress. I live quite a complex life. I'm a doctor during the day and I run businesses during the evenings, so my subconscious craves something simple and mundane as a safety blanket. Without turning this into a therapy session, I think it comes from wanting to revert to a time when life was simple and nostalgic. And so the game that I settled on was Mortal Kombat Mobile. What's ridiculous about this is that the gameplay itself isn't even satisfying. It's just about mashing buttons. But they know how to tap into our brain's reward circuits, and it's an incredibly deliberate design. They looked at the components of addiction: investment, variable rewards, and the requirement for constant engagement, and they've nailed it. Investment, you rise up the towers, you upgrade your character, and you move into the Netherrealm. Variable rewards, there's 3 types of currency, and you build up experience points by mashing the buttons, where you then can exchange that for various currency, buy new characters, upgrade your existing characters. And the requirement for constant engagement, you have to log in every hour to do quests so that you can gain souls, and then there's a daily random reward that if you miss a day, you've missed out on that reward forever. We are so hardwired to mash that dopamine button that they even managed to reduce me, a level 99 master rabbi guru of the Earth realm, into a dopamine goblin. I even bought the souls pack with actual money just so that I could continue the button mashing. I'm lucky that I don't have any truly destructive vices. I don't drink, I don't take drugs, I don't gamble, I'm very minimal with caffeine, I'm not a sexual deviant, so it could be much worse. But the brain is like a homing missile for any sliver of dopamine that's available, so you cannot rely just on willpower for this. You have to set up the environment to safeguard yourself against this happening. I'm going to cover some of the ways that you can get a handle on this, but you need to undo the conditioning that got you to this point. Have you ever got your phone out before you've even realised that you wanted to get your phone out? Or closed a Facebook tab and then just immediately reopened a Facebook tab without thinking? Or have you ever had phantom vibrations in your pocket? These are all signs that we've become programmed by our devices. So what happened when I finally took the plunge and deleted the app? I didn't miss it at all. There was no true fulfillment. The little dopamine hits were just compulsion without the actual satisfaction. So all of the downside with none of the upside, which is pretty scary. I just had to go delete it and then that was it. Complete peace. I used to think that I could just white knuckle through it and rely on willpower. But this thing is millions of years old. Plus, you're against thousands of developers that are all trying to optimize for you staying on screen as long as possible. It's no match for willpower. Instead, you need to use the times when you're not in the throes of the Netherrealm addiction to design your environment so that it's not an option. You need to use your higher cortical function when you're not relying on your reptilian addictive brain to set yourself up for success. So 3 ways to get started right away. Number 1, get conscious about it. Start tracking the numbers. Use screen time on your phone or rescue time on your computer to give you the sobering reality of how many hours you're spending on screen, for example. Or if it's another habit, get really clear about tracking it. In the first step, don't worry about trying to reduce it. Just get a handle on what's the size of the problem that I'm dealing with here. See my productivity series on this for more. But one quick thing you can do if you use an iPhone is set up screen time and put the widget on your home screen so it's always a reminder of how much of a dickhead you are. But it's important not to judge yourself. Step 2 is make the habit as much of a ball ache as possible to access. So if it's an app, you've got to make sure that you actually have to re-download the app to access it. That gap is enough to make you second guess and think, hang on, is this what I want to be consciously doing in this moment, or did I just reflexively go to it? If it's something like comfort food that you binge on, keep it in the top shelf in your house so you have to go and stand on a chair, or better still, just don't stock it in your house. That way at least you have to walk to the shops so that you can get hold of that food, and in the walk there you're thinking, actually, is this really what I want to be doing right now? Step 3 is urge surfing. So sit with the urge and just recognize that actually it's maybe a transient sense of like, I want to do the thing. Actually it's gone now and I'm back to where I was. Rather than training your brain that as soon as it gets an urge, that urge has to be satisfied. Something that I find fascinating nowadays is that none of us have been bored in years. It used to be that you would go and sit in a waiting room and you just stare at the wall. Now, that doesn't happen, or if you see someone doing that, you immediately think they're a psychopath. So there's a few tips to get started. I would recommend having a look at this article by Dr. Cameron Sapar. I'll put the link in the description below. It's called Dopamine Fasting 2.0, and it is a full system for how you can reset your reward circuitry so that you can learn to enjoy life more and improve your concentration span. This is a big factor in managing your personal productivity when you're working from home or running your own business, and it's much harder because there's no boss looking over your shoulder, watching over what you're doing. You have to take this into your own hands. So, subscribe for more on this and start with watching this playlist.